Louisiana is on top again. According to the EPA, we're the most polluted state in the nation. In 1992, the latest figures that are available, more than 465 million pounds of toxics were released into our environment. Texas ranked second and Mississippi sixth. Many of the nation's top polluters line the river between Baton Rouge and New Orleans. Today, environmental reporter Marvin McGraw paid a visit to a company which is trying to clean up its act.
They're perhaps the closest thing to mountains in South Louisiana. These giant piles of gypsum rising out of the cane fields, some standing more than 90 feet tall.
Planted.
Jim Miller is an environmental engineer for Freeport McMoRan, the company which owns these gypsum stacks.
This used to be a white-gray powdery material, and now you can see that we've got grass growing on it.
In 1992, more than 155 million pounds of gypsum was washed into the Mississippi River from these stacks, and those at two other plants owned by Freeport McMoRan nearby.
Rain that came off these gypsum stacks, we accumulated in ponds, but when we got too much rain, we had to overflow those ponds and discharge into the river.
In an effort to stem the flow of gypsum into the river, Freeport is spending more than $60 million to enclose the stacks with topsoil and a layer of grass.
When the rain comes in contact with them, it's like rain that comes in contact with your yard or any other area of farmland.
And the idea seems to be working. Gypsum runoff from these stacks has been lowered significantly. But some environmentalists are skeptical of the efforts underway here. They wonder if it may not be a case of too little, too late.
I think people are beginning to become doubting Thomases.
Mary Lior represents a statewide coalition of environmental groups, many who she claims are concerned about past exposure to the gypsum.
They're really concerned about how long has this been going on, how long have they been exposed, and what can they do to make up for that.
But while a Freeport spokesman claims the gypsum never did pose a health threat, it did add to the state's pollution problems which, through efforts like this one, are slowly being cleaned up. I'm Marvin McGraw, Channel 2 Eyewitness News.
A spokesman for Freeport McMoRan says all their discharges into the river, are permitted by the EPA and the DEQ. John?
We'll talk about the environment. If Mark Twain could see the Mississippi River today, he would cry. Well, that's how a nationwide environmental group called American Rivers summed up the problems of the Great River. In a report issued today, the group claims toxic discharges, loss of backwaters, and channelizations have all turned the mighty Mississippi into an endangered river. The report calls on the EPA to develop a comprehensive plan for the restoration of the river. Margaret?